What's up everybody? Welcome back to another video, Zero Mile ADV, a true beginner's guide to starting an American motorcycle apparel company. It has been 4 weeks since I've done an update video and it's a bit disappointing. Not really for you all because not a whole lot of people have been watching this video series, like maybe more people will tag on later. But it's more disappointing for me because it was my goal to start to do a video every week, and I think it's important to document your process so that you can see where you've come from, because it's always just these little changes every week in this little incremental process. And so really, a bit selfishly, if I'm honest, these videos are a bit more for me than they are for you guys. But if you enjoy them and you're getting value out of them, then it's an extra win for me, because then we're lifting everybody up. Rising tides rise all ships. So with that, what has happened over the last 4 weeks? Well, we got a bunch of samples. So we got a bunch of samples made. One thing that I learned in that sample making process is some companies will give them to you for free. Some manufacturers, you have to pay for them. And the ones, I think if I would go back, the ones that were producing and charging us for the samples, I probably would have been a bit more critical as to what they were going to deliver. Now, the first round of samples you get is just about like sussing out your quality. And I think I've touched on this a few times, and this is a process I'm learning in the apparel business, is that before you have your manufacturer, you're kind of getting like, you need a way to test to see if they can do what you want. And if they're going to send you something that's garbage, you're like, this is cheap. The stitching's all uneven. They didn't even attach the labels properly, etc. Because, I think there was maybe it was like $300 total for all of the samples we got. And I think I would have been a bit more critical about what samples we were receiving so that I can make sure that those were usable. Because right now I have a bunch of samples and a lot of it's unusable in some regard, in that I won't wear it. I don't know that I would even give some of it away. A lot of the stuff we got, they sent us just as samples of stuff they produce, and so we can see the quality of it. And in that case, also, I'm not going to use it, but there wasn't a money exchange for it. It was just being able to test the quality, just see the quality of their production. So where I'm going with that is, I think I would, learning through this process, the samples I had to pay for, I probably would have requested a little bit more, and I probably would have been a little bit more diligent about what we got. But I didn't know, I assumed that they were going to do some different stuff. Anyways, I would probably relearn that process to save a few bucks. And it wasn't a lot of money at the end of the day, it was a couple $100. That is a lot of money for some people, but at the end of the day for me, 250, 300 bucks or whatever, it wasn't terrible, and we got like 40 samples or whatever. So in the grand scheme of things, it was like $10 a sample on average, whatever, not a big deal. But I would rethink that process. Now, looking back, so now we are moving forward. We have 2 manufacturers that we really like. We actually came across a unique problem in that most of the one manufacturer that we want to produce are like riding denim. So we want to rethink the denim idea more for an adventure or dual sport rider. Our manufacturer sent us a sample that actually, the unique thing is, I'm pretty sure we're going to go with them. We're looking at a couple others, but in that process, it was terrible. The actual denim quality was bad. The stitching wasn't good. It was off. Now going back, the manufacturer is actually like, yeah, I should have looked at these before they got sent to you. Like kind of the boss, right? It was like, because I would have rejected this sample. They clearly just rushed through this. So they're remaking it. So we're going to see how it comes out. But Asan came up with a really great idea in that we are sourcing denim from some of the best denim manufacturers in the world that produce, think of some of the highest quality denim manufacturers. And this is also something I learned. So most of the facilities that produce these big companies, Levi's, Seven, Ralph Lauren, all of these jeans, they're producing millions and millions of garments, sometimes a month, right? They're producing hundreds of thousands of garments a month. And what will happen is these larger manufacturers will hit a point where they can't they've reached their cap, and so they need some support. And so they will outsource their production to a smaller facility. Well, these smaller facilities can't just sit around and wait to hope that these larger manufacturers always have overflow. It seems like it's relatively consistent from what I can gather, but you don't know when it's going to come. So they're also looking together on their own work. The nice thing is that they're producing and they can make the quality of these big players, right? So they have the right machines, they have the right materials. And so Hassan, who is actually technically the first employee for Zero Mile ADV, he is actually getting a really high quality denim fabric from an actual like leading denim manufacturer, and then we're going to send that over to our kind of motorcycle apparel manufacturer, and then have them produce the jeans that we want from a protection standpoint. So it's kind of like we're having really nice jeans made at a really nice facility to our specs so that they're more rideable, more comfortable, they work better off-road, whole sort of things. But then we're sending them to an actual motorcycle apparel company to have the different abrasion resistant materials and stuff that we wanted in to add the protection in. So that was actually unique, like thinking outside the box and doing something that most of these companies haven't. And what was awesome about the manufacturer that we're working with on kind of the more motorcycle apparel line of things is they were really interested in this, and then they felt challenged enough to be like, I think we can also produce a really high quality denim that then we add the protection in later. So they're also producing, and we're going to kind of compare and contrast, right? We're going to be like, well, this is what we got from this denim manufacturer that's producing for all these big companies, Ralph, Levi's, Seven, Ralph Lauren, whoever, all these big manufacturers. Now, can you do it? And we can compare and contrast. They can learn. So our motorcycle apparel company can learn and look at that sample, see the difference, and then replicate it for us, so we can kind of really be class leading and have like really amazing pair of denim that also works on the bike, that's comfortable, it moves, it breathes, it fits inside a boot, all of these kind of things. Actually, there's a little kid, they call him like the Tank or something like that. He races motocross and he wears like cut off jeans. I'm like, this kid, I need to like sponsor this kid, because I'm like, having an awesome pair of denim that you could ride like on the dirt would be awesome. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. So that was like a learning process, and we're going through that now, and I'm really excited to see how that turns out. Another thing to kind of backtrack, I talked a little bit about Hassan. I was kind of like just one of Hassan's clients, and we are kind of using an intermediary to kind of handle the contracting and all that stuff. And I just had a conversation with him actually when I was in St. George, Utah, riding that BMW GS. And I have realized that whenever in business I have taken a risk on somebody, it has generally paid off. So in this case, Hassan has been really crucial. And so I went to him and I'm like, hey, like, what would it cost for you just to work for Zero Mile full time? Like, what would that cost? And what we realized is that for him to have a decent salary just to work for Zero Mile full time, so he can move this project along faster and actually start making money, and I can stop putting money into it, is that basically what I was paying, what it cost me using, like channeling everything through this like third party, if it just went direct to him, he could work for me full time. So basically we worked out an agreement where now he's just working directly for Zero Mile full time. He's got his own email account where like everything's rocking and rolling. So Zero Mile kind of has its first full-time employee, which is awesome. And it's nice because now he has the time and energy to actually visit these manufacturers, to be our contact. I've gotten some emails and stuff. I think some people have seen these videos actually uniquely from other manufacturing facilities, and they're like, hey, we're interested in producing your garments. And now it's like I can just like send them to him because this is his wheelhouse. This is what he knows. I have the vision, the idea, hopefully the business acumen to make this thing real. But yeah, moving into that. It's been really unique and challenging, and I've been really going through this idea of like the customer journey, and like for all of you that potentially might be interested in purchasing your own Zero Mile apparel, what that looks like. And how to really build strong relationships through an apparel brand, like rethinking that process. My other company, it's all tech related, and it's a completely different customer journey, and that whole thought process of how to build relationships on that side of things is completely different from what it is here. So it's like I'm really having to spend a lot of time going through that, and I've been doing that a lot over the last couple weeks, and I'm pretty close to having a plan pretty well architected that I think will take us through the launch. And of course, we'll learn, we'll get feedback from potential customers, but we really want to build that relationship and have lifelong customers that don't feel like they're just, that they know the brand, that they feel like they're a part of it, and that it's not just some other, I don't know, Hurley or some of these like big brands where it's like you just have no connection with, right? So that's a lot of samples. We're moving things along, getting closer. Oh, one other thing that I think is important I should touch on. We had a meeting today. Also, great, really cool story. A guy who started out as just like a helping hand in an apparel manufacturing facility. He worked his way up, learned the business, and then started his own facility. And like that's kind of another reason why I want to do these videos. Like hopefully I'm helping to spark the idea for somebody else to do something else, and they can follow along the journey and like realize that like I have ups and downs too, and it's just all about small increments. But anyways, we had a call with him, and excited to work with him. He actually produced this sweatshirt that I'm wearing here, actually, that I really like. Actually, they did a fantastic job. But what is unique is that when you're starting is the issue of MOQ, right? So the minimum quantity orders, and it's like what makes sense for them, but how do we like keep that cost down for us? And especially with a lot of the stuff that we're going to have him produce is going to be kind of a marketing and business building expense initially. I'm not sure it's going to be a large profit center for the business, especially for the first 6 months, because of some ideas of how to build those relationships with our customers and some things that we're thinking about. So it's like I have to keep those costs as low as possible because I know that it's going to just cost me money. I don't plan on actually making revenue from the items that he's going to be making. At least not all of it. Maybe a few bucks here and there, but not enough to make up for the cost of the other items that we're using, because it's going to be kind of more of an marketing expense, I guess, would probably be the right term on kind of how we're looking to do it. But, talking with him, it's like he's in this battle where it's like, yeah, he wants to work with us and he wants another customer, but it also has to make sense with them. And so like, we were working through the negotiations, and it's I think it's going to work out just fine. And I hope that 0 Mile is successful enough, only with the help of you guys. So hopefully we get enough orders where we can send him the actual MOQ that they deserve, right? Because we're wanting to do like 1/10 of what they generally require, right? So the quality is really good, they can produce, but we're asking for 1/10 of what they generally require. Seems like we're going to be able to make that happen. To help keep the costs down initially, but that's just been another challenge, is this like MOQ challenge, which you have to overcome. But I think if you just fight a little bit every day and build the right relationships, everything's all about, so it's people, purpose, profit. I generally probably put God, people, purpose, profit in that order. So if you focus on those things, generally the money will work out and everything will be fine, but it's all about the relationship. And again, without Asan having this relationship with this guy before, I'm not sure that this super low MOQ is possible. So it just goes to show you how important relationships are. So always make sure to take care of the people you work with, or family or whatever. I've got family drama, so maybe not necessarily all family, depending on what your family drama is. I can definitely sympathize with that. That's a whole other story. I won't get into that. But if you've made it this long, leave me a comment below. Are you enjoying this process? What do you think? Are you interested in our idea? Do you think wearability should be more important? Or do you think we should take the status quo and do protection first and then style and wearability, which seems to be the general way that most motorcycle apparel companies go? So with that, leave a comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching this process at a later date, go to zeromileadv.com, check out our amazing apparel, give us your feedback, tell us what kind of improvements you would want, because without your feedback and people that are actually wearing it, none of this is possible. So until next time, stay safe out there.